people to know the man has been detained in court, and they do have the knife, because it's really important that people aren't in mass panic. Also, several hospitals in the area, including Aintree Hospital and also the Alderhay Children's Hospital, are asking people not to go there, if they only have minor injuries, or can put it off to another time due to the fact that they are working on saving the lives of children today. So what I can work out is that nearby this incident happening, there was a Taylor Swift workshop going on, a dance and yoga workshop, where children from age year 2 to year 6 were at that event. Now, what I cannot work out is if it was at that event where this happened, because it did say the incident was nearby. I'll put up the green screen I've just used to make my video, just to show you kind of what headlines are saying. But this is children in the summer holidays, as it's so hard to even talk about. Complete Bride, thank you, Complete Bride, for subbing. Yes, it happened at a children's club, which was it was dedicated to Taylor Swift. So at least 8 people have been stabbed. We don't know how many of them are children. I imagine there was obviously many workers there as well. But we do know several of the victims are at Alderhay, which is only 4 children. One has died. Where have you seen that? I haven't seen anyone's died. Yeah, I'm just going to refresh this page because the BBC are live there. And they are updating consistently. I'll tell you what we know so far. So we know that... we first of all heard this morning at 11:50 that ambulance services and police were called, thanks Steph, to multiple stabbings, up to 8 people. Someone I know's daughter of Drama Cafe, I'm so sorry. We know that the ambulance and police were called that. I'm going to go to Liverpool Echo and see what that says. 1 dead. 1 has just been confirmed as dead, and others are critically injured, which means they are literally in life or death situation at this time. So it says Merseyside police were called to Hart Street in Southport and confirmed a number of reported casualties. A spokesperson for the force said, "We can confirm the emergency services are in Southport following a major incident this morning, Monday, 29th of July. Thank you, Becca. Around 11:50 a.m, we were called to a property on Hart Street to reports of a stabbing. There are a number of reported casualties and more details will be confirmed when possible. We have 1 male detained at a police station and we have also seized his knife." So this is 8 victims who have been stabbed today. We believe it was year 2 to year 6 children whose parents had paid for them to go to a dance and yoga workshop for Taylor Swift fans. I'm just seeing what there's loads of stuff breaking. I mean, we know that 1 children, Hannah. We know that most victims have been taken to Alderhay Children's Hospital and they have declared a major incident because they are literally in a life or death situation and their operating theatres are full and they're asking people not to present to that hospital at the moment if you only have minor injuries. It's just, so it says, the Liverpool Echo understands that 1 person believed to be a child has already died, while possibly more than 10 others, both adults and children, have been taken to hospital around the region and to major trauma centres. Alderhay Children's Hospital has now declared a major incident. A total of 13 ambulances were called to the scene. And the ambulance service has confirmed they rushed 8 people to the hospital. My thoughts and prayers are with the whole of this area right now. the families, the victims, and all the children who were traumatised this morning. People described the scene as an absolute horror scene, as mums rushed to find their children screaming. This should never, ever be allowed to happen in our society. Do you think it's terror or domestic? I think we're going to come back to some kind of, where it's a one male perpetrator, where it's going to be some kind of mental health issue, or they're going to put it down to that. This is just pure evilness. I have a lot of time for the mental health community. I have a lot of time. I have mental health myself. There is no excuse. There is no excuse to go after the weakest members of society and to go into a children's club in the half-term holidays where their parents have signed them up and paid for them to take part in a workshop for Taylor Swift fans, and to take a bladed article, a knife, and start stabbing children. I do not give a fuck what mental health issues you have. I don't care if you were brought to this country. I don't care if you were angry at this country. I don't even care if you have a shit life. I don't care at all about why this man agreed or thought that it was okay to do this. What I care about is the fact that our children aren't even safe in a paid school workshop in the holidays, where I imagine these parents were absolutely thrilled to be able to put their children in a dance and yoga workshop, which is healthy for them to do. They get to spend time with their friends. All little girls love dancing and singing, and little boys as well. And they were probably so excited, and this should never be allowed to happen. Lucky kids. We heard in the last 10 minutes they've announced that one child has already died. This, we don't have the ages of any of the victims yet. We do know that a large majority of them are children. It's just, it's absolutely devastating. No time for that. Absolutely devastating. So it says a Taylor Swift, where did that just go? A Taylor Swift yoga and dance workshop aimed at primary school children who could attend between the ages of year 2 and year 6 were taking place when the incident unfolded. The organisers have been approached for comment but have not yet responded. As we reported earlier, casualties were taken to a number of hospitals, including Alder Hey Children's Hospital, which have now declared a major incident because they cannot take in any more people at that hospital due to the fact they're working on saving lives. From what it sounds like to me, Maria, is I imagine on a beautiful day like this, the kids are going to be outside with yoga mats and music. They're not going to be confined to a gym or a inside school. And they are probably out in a playground, etc. I don't know whether we will find out that this man was related or had some part of one of these children where he knew it was going on, or whether some sick, cruel bastard had been watching these children and decided. We don't even know if this was a workshop that happened last week and this week and it's been happening. I can't imagine being one of the families who are being impacted by this today. Can mods keep on top of comments that are in any way offensive or sick to these children, please? I can see people reacting to some comments. I've not actually seen the comment myself. But there should be nothing apart from people banding together to pray and support and wish well for these children, these families today. Anyone who has a different opinion or anything gross to say can take their face for a shit at this point, because I don't understand why people would have anything to say. These are babies, absolute babies. Primary school children between the ages of 2 and 6, like Sophie said, their ages 6 to 11. Do you know what I mean? It's me too, Lee. I literally where are our kids safe anymore? When I decided to come live, I didn't realise that just before they'd announced that one had died, a child had died already. And it's just, it doesn't bear thinking about. So where do you go? Like the Southport MP comes out and goes, I'm deeply concerned by this. Oh, you're deeply concerned, are you? It's not really, I don't know why you've got anything to say about this right now, especially I'm deeply concerned. I think it's slightly more than deeply concerned. So for anyone just coming in Southport, there was a school summer club for children where they were learning to dance and perform yoga to Taylor Swift. Those children were between the ages of 6 and 11, year 2 and year 6. And this morning around 11:50, a man with a knife has attacked those children. One is already dead and at least 7 others are in hospital right now. We don't know how many of them are children, how many of them are workers who probably tried to save those children, but we do know that Alder Hey Hospital has declared a major incident and asked that nobody else come to the hospital today as they cannot take in anyone else right now. It does bring back memories of Dunblane for sure. And we only talked about it last night or the night before where I said, oh, we've got rid of guns, it will never happen again to us. Becky, they have caught the person. The police have arrested one man and they have his weapon of choice as well. They have the knife. This is parents have come forward and said their daughters and children are traumatised by the attack. Some of them managed to get away, run away. And here's what we know so far. Multiple victims were stabbed on Hart Street in Southport around 11:50 this morning. A man has been arrested and there is no wider threat to the public, police say. The North West Ambulance Service say paramedics treated at least 8 victims on the scene for stab wounds. A major incident has been declared at Alder Hey Children's Hospital, although details about the victims have not yet been confirmed. Some of the stabbed were also transported to the Aintree University Hospital and the Southport and Formby Hospital. The man who phoned the police, a local business owner, he said he described the scene as something like a horror movie. Colin Parry, owner of Masters Vehicle Body Repairs on Hart Street, said it was a number of young girls who were laying on the floor having been stabbed. He said that the mothers were heading to the scene and all he could hear was screaming. Police have not yet confirmed the ages or the identities of the victims. So Alder Hey Hospital, and just to reiterate that again in case you live in the area, they have, obviously they are in Liverpool, and they have said they've declared a major incident and urges parents to only bring their children to A&E if it's absolutely urgent, because they are working with other emergency services to respond to this incident and save the lives of these children. And anyone coming in here who is saying, our children, our people, their people, was it them, just fuck off. Like right now, we're literally talking about the brutal stabbing of at least 8 children, and you want to come in here and throw racism out. It's not the time for it, for God's sake. It's not the time to pile on more hate to a situation where the whole of the UK should be grieving right now. One child has already been confirmed to have passed away. This isn't about that. And I don't understand why, before we even know who the perpetrator is, what his name is, what he looks like, we jump to these conclusions. Oh, it must have been this, it must have been that. We have no idea. There is no fucking excuse for what's happened here. I don't care where they're from. I don't care what colour they are. I don't care what they look like. Whoever's done this is a pure evil bastard, and I hope the worst happens to him. I don't really care about his religion or anything else. I literally just want the worst possible for him. That's it. Some people just use any incident to hate, and like we don't even know what he looks like, right? He could be white and called Bob Williams from the UK, and people come in here and they just literally just think, oh, I'll just jump on a hate train, and it just pisses me off because right now that the last thing in my head is, what does the male perpetrator look like? In my head, I'm thinking, pray to God these children survive. And one victim is too many to have lost their life. And we're waiting on updates on others. Families are going through absolute hell right now. These children, even if they survive, will never get over this. Never. I'm just seeing if there's any updates that have come in. So the latest update is that one has died. We don't know, Beauty in the BDP. We literally we don't know a lot about what's gone on. We just know that at least 8 victims have been transported to hospital. 1 has died, and a lot of those victims, at least if not all, are children. Even the children that have managed to run and get away will forever be traumatised by what happened. These are little girls, for people that are just coming in. These were little girls who were attending a workshop over the summer holidays for Taylor Swift, and they were doing yoga and dancing and singing. They literally were ages between 6 and 11 years of age. Where did you read that, Sammy? I've not seen that he rocked up in a taxi. I wonder if he got a taxi purely to that place. But I imagine events like this, like events like Workshop for Kids, and that will be really publicised in the area. You know, I've got magazines where my kids have, where you can look what's on in some holidays and stuff. You'll get it on Facebook pages, etc., of the things going on. This is just Telegraph. I can't stay on for too long today because I the little one's in the front room watching Inside Out. The Telegraph's updated 4 minutes ago, so I'm going to go and see what they've updated. So, what did that say then? 25 children, their parents, neighbours, managed staff. It's an excuse. It is, absolutely. Children among 8 people who have been stabbed in a knife attack in Southport today. Paramedics are treating 8 victims with stab injuries following the incident at Hart Street. A man has been detained by police and a knife has been seized. The victim has been taken to Alder Hey Children's Hospital, Aintree University Hospital in Southport, and Formby Hospital. A Taylor Swift themed yoga and dance class for children aged between 6 and 11 was taking place when the attack happened. Can you block that vote reform thing, please? A group of children ran into the street. I'm going to put trigger warning here, guys, because we're reading reports of kind of what happened. So I'm just going to put trigger warning. A group of children ran into the street from the nursery, bleeding and suffering from stab wounds. Bear Vathran, 35, who went to corner shop on Hart Street, said, "Boss, get back in the shop. I saw 7 to 10 kids outside the nursery. They were all injured. They were in the road running from the nursery." He then indicates they'd been stabbed in their neck, their back and their chest area. They were all aged about 10 years of age. One of them was very seriously injured. "I hope they'll be okay." Only 2 police jeeps and ambulances arrived, then armed police came and took him out of the nursery. Somebody told me he'd arrived here in a taxi and he'd had a knife in his hand. The unit was being used, okay, let me just read this. The attack happened at a children's yoga and dance party that was taking place in a premises called the Heart Space, which is actually a nursery area for children, normally in term time. The unit was being used to host a Taylor Swift themed children's and yoga dance club. The club was for children in years 2 to 6, was due to take place between 10 and 12 p.m. and was sold out. So the attack took place roughly 15 minutes before these children were due to leave and go home to their mums and dads. One witness at the scene described firefighters sat on the curb crying with their heads in their hands after what they saw. This literally will affect so many people. you know, you get hired as something like a police officer or a firefighter, you never expect to deal with this on this level with children. They see things all the time, things that will absolutely destroy you. But there is something quite haunting about a firefighter, someone who is a big, strong man who actually saves lives, being sat on the curb with his head in the sand crying. There is something quite massive about that just kind of sticks in my heart, like literally. What time is it now? So 2 minutes ago, College of Policing Chief Constable Sir Andy Marsh said his thoughts were with everyone affected. My thoughts with this afternoon are with everyone affected by the horrific and deeply distressing incident. I am grateful for the police and the emergency services responding. And I will always, when credit is due, they absolutely should be given. These police officers, these emergency services, the people who are on scene, absolutely I give full respect to, and I really hope they are okay as well as the victims and the families. This is so hard. Yeah, 100% what Observer says. Like, at a time like this, right, the UK needs to come together. We need to come together strong, and we need to start saying this can't happen to our children. Like, we know a man has been arrested. We don't know how old he was. We know that he actually arrived in a taxi with a knife. I have children, Leslie, and I have young girls, and this is a club very similar to what I would put my children in. Like, my kids go to stuff like this all the time. I'm sure all of our kids do. If there's something of interest on, like, fort building or something, and Taylor's like, I really want to do it, I'm the first person to go, yeah, that's really good for you. Taylor's supposed to go to a club next week, a full club for the jump in between primary and secondary school. I don't think I'll let her go now. I just literally, things like this just literally put you off, don't they? It's just, I don't know. I'm not even at this time thinking who's done this, because I don't care who's done this. Whoever's done this is the worst of the worst, disgusting, evil, vicious, spiteful animal, which is probably too good for him, to be fair. There is no motive which I'm going to hear about which is going to rest easier on my soul that this has happened. I don't get the people that come in and go, 8 children have stabbed and one's lost their life. What race was he? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand. Like, why would your first question be like, are the children okay? How many children was there? Where did this happen? Like, have they arrested him? Like, why would why would your first thought be, well, what colour is he? Or what religion is he? Big girls, take your face for a shit. Why are you coming in here kicking off when we're doing a live about children? Like, why? I don't understand. I don't even think really we can ask where was the safeguarding, because until we know the situation of what's happened or how he's got into the building or whether they were outside doing some kind of routine. I know, like, I'm sure loads of people, your kids have been to dance classes and stuff. Well, Taylor's, like, for the last 15 minutes of her drama school, they would come outside and they'd perform for the parents, and it would be a lot more, like, less safeguarding because everyone was there to kind of see what they'd learnt that day. It could be any situation. He could have knocked on the door and said delivery. It could have been anything. So I don't think we can even just say, like, well, I know what everyone's thinking. It's probably not the right room for you then, Boohoo, to be fair. Because it's not what everyone's thinking at all. Thanks, Nat. I'm just going to quickly refresh and see if anything's come in. I can't stay on all day because I've got to go be the kids and I've got to try and hold myself together. This is I'm not even going to lower myself to do a poll and say, oh, how many of you are thinking racist thoughts right now? He's been arrested, Bully Twins. He's been arrested. and they have the knife, and what everyone said there, like, hug your children a little bit tighter. We know that they were the majority children. Reports from the scene, which is trigger warning. A group of children ran into the street from the nursery bleeding and suffering with stab wounds. Bear Vathram, 35, who owns a corner shop on Hart Street, said he rushed out of the shop and saw 7 to 10 kids, mainly girls, outside, bleeding in the road. They had been stabbed, he said. He pointed to his neck, back and chest and said there was blood everywhere. They were about age 10. One of them was very seriously injured. I hope they'll be okay. Only 2 police jeeps and ambulances arrived. Somebody told me the man had arrived on scene in a taxi and had a knife. One's died, Jade. We know one's already passed away and the rest are in critical. It's absolutely devastating. Exactly, Shell. Literally. Obviously my first thought in a situation like this where we know children are at Older Hay Hospital being worked on right now, I don't give a fuck about any of the noise around it. I'm just thinking about those children surviving and the parents, their thoughts right now, especially the parents of the girl who has already died. For anyone coming in, there was a major incident this morning in Southport where a man went to a school half-term club where the children were doing yoga and dance parties for Taylor Swift, and he walked in with a knife and began stabbing the children. 1 child has already passed away and 8 in all were taken to trauma centres where they're in critical condition. The man has been arrested and his knife has been seized, and the victims have been taken to Older Hay Children's Hospital, Aintree University Hospital and Southport and Formby Hospital. Someone just said, I hope it's your daughter next. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Wow. Did Wads get that person or not? Was it Mohammed? I'm not going to turn comments off. People should see that what society is actually like, and people should be able to ask questions when people may live in Southport in the area and be panicking and want to ask me things like, has he been arrested? What's happened? I'm not particularly bothered about what they said about me. I'm more concerned about these children and the families in Southport. So we don't have any information on who the guy was that's been arrested. We just know a man has been arrested, and we know the children would have been from age 6 to 11 if they were year 2 to year 6. The victim, the guy is called Donovan. What, the guy who's been arrested? Where have we heard that? I'm just trying to see if anyone has any information on the perpetrator, because the man will be from another country. Someone just said he's called Donovan and he's white. Yeah, Leah, people are horrible, aren't they? Literally, I'm more concerned about what's happened to these actual children today rather than someone wishing it was my children. Do you know what I mean? It's just shows who people was. Oh, the guy who the troll was called Donovan, right? Okay. I was like, what? Yeah, I covered the case in Dublin as well, and that was absolutely horrific. And then we had the case last year on in France where the immigrant, it was in that situation, ran onto his children's playground and started stabbing them. This is literally... Just seeing if any more updates have come in. Hiya, from where I'm not finding. She's trying not to laugh, really. What is wrong with people, man? What is wrong with people? Yeah, I'm okay. I just think I'm the same as everyone else. And as parents, it's really hard to comprehend that they're born. I know you would, Lee. Yeah, so this is kind of all we know. A child has died, yeah. Did I say Stockport? Southport, sorry, Southport. Let's have a look here. Give me a second. I'm just trying to see what the police's actual statement is, as theirs is very small. Just they reported to a stabbing on Hart Street around 11:50. There are a number of casualties, but they haven't. That was about 1 o'clock they did that, so the police out there will be so busy right now as well. I'm just having a look if there's any updates. I think so. There is a couple more bits that have come out. So Northwest Ambulance Charity called to attacks. They just said earlier today we received calls to attend in Southport. We asked people to resist speculating about the incident and avoid posting images and videos online, which obviously I would never post images of that anyway. And I hope to God people have not posted images of this online. These children should never be posted online. At 3:37, just 2 minutes ago, staff members claim police said one child has died. A staff member at Heart Space, which was the area where it happened, the space where the children were, who wanted to remain anonymous, claims they have been told by police that one child has already died from the attack. She said there were probably 25 children there because that's the max we have there, and they had reached the max for this event. I don't even know if the teachers are okay. They posted the other day that they were full for this Taylor Swift holiday club this morning. The police have said to me one child has died. When I got there was a guy who was absolutely distraught and a mess. He'd seen 2 children run out of the Heart Space and he thought they'd got hit by a car because the car in front of them was just full of blood on the side. But it was actually the children who'd been stabbed had fallen into the car. It was apparently a guy wearing a hooded black top that burst into the building. You've been to baby sensory there. I just, we don't know. We just know a man has been arrested. He was taken out of the space by the police, and they do have his weapon as well, which was a knife. Yes, please, thank you, Kira. And Alder Hey Children's Hospital have put out a major incident and asked people not to attend there unless there is an emergency, as they are fully in life-saving mode with these children. It happened at 11:50 this morning. Hey Bailey, so there has been a mass stabbing in Southport with a large number of children stabbed from a children's holiday club where they were doing dance and yoga to Taylor Swift. It was a fully booked holiday club with 25 children, and at least 8 of them have been stabbed. 1 has already died. There are absolutely no words. I love you, please people don't speculate. We're not speculating, Eddie, we're just doing the actual updates, the actual factual updates of what's coming out. We're not speculating on who the perpetrator is, why he did what he did. There is no excuse to me, and I'm not interested in particularly who he is, where he comes from, and what his reasons were. We don't know how old the victims are. We know that due to the outlines of what was allowed at the club, that they were in between year 2 and year 6 at school, so from 6 to 11. So, yeah, they're saying children between years 2 and 6. So not 2 and 6 in age. Most of the people on the scene said most of the victims were about 10 years of age. And that would just be from on-site saying. No, it's children years 2 to 6. That's what the poster said for the holiday club. The people on scene are saying that the victims are around age 10, and we know that they were from they could attend the club from year 2 to year 6. 6 to 11, yeah. Right, so I'm going to go through it once more before I get off. So children are among 8 who have been stabbed in a knife attack in Southport. Paramedics were treating 8 victims with stab injuries following the incident on Hart Street today. A man has been detained by police and the knife was seized. The victims have been taken to Alderhay Children's Hospital, Aintree University Hospital and Southport and Formby Hospital. A spokesperson from North West Ambulance Service said we've dispatched 13 ambulances. The children were at a Taylor Swift themed yoga and dance class for children aged between 6 and 11. It is believed to have been taking place when the attack happened. Now we know that the children were due to leave 15 minutes later. It was getting towards the end of the club when the stabbings took place. Now, one child has already been reported as she has died. A staff member at Hart Space, where the club was being held, who wants to remain anonymous, claims she has been told today that one of the children has died. She said there were probably 25 children there because that's the max we can have in that space, and they had reached the max for this club. We don't even know if the teachers are okay. They posted the other day that they were full for the Taylor Swift Holiday Club and they hold it here. The police said to me one has died. When I got there was a guy on scene who was an absolute distraught and mess. He had seen 2 children run out of the Hart Space and he thought they'd got hit by a car because of the amount of blood on the cars. But it was actually the children who'd been stabbed and fallen into the cars. We also have reports from one of the men who was on the scene and actually phoned. Let me have a look. The death is not confirmed, anything not confirmed, speculation. So this is a woman who actually owns and works at the space, who has been told by a police officer that the child has died. So I would imagine that is confirmed. It's also all over all of the news reports as well. So a man who owns the corner shop on Hart Street called Bear Thaffram, who's 35, said he was called to the shop quickly by one of his staff members. He said, I saw 7 to 10 kids outside the nursery. They were all injured, bleeding. They were in the road and trying to run from the nursery. They had been stabbed here and here and everywhere, and he indicated to the neck, back and chest area. They were all aged about 10. One of them was really seriously injured. I hope they'll be okay. Only 2 police cars and ambulances arrived. Then armed police came and took him out of the nursery. We believe he arrived in a taxi and had a knife on him when he got there. And then the latest report at 3:42 was one resident who lives on Hart Street but did not want to be named said he was at home about midday when a woman pulled up outside in her car screaming, and she was screaming, "My daughter's been stabbed." It was a mum with her 10-year-old daughter who had been stabbed. I helped her get back up to where the police cars and ambulances were. She didn't look great. My focus was on getting her back up the street to get her help. When I got back up the street, there were a couple of kids on the floor being seen to by paramedics, and as I came back, more police cars were going down and more ambulances started to arrive. Absolutely pray these children are okay. I don't think we'll ever be able to answer that question. Why? Because what possible answer could you give to that? There is no excuse, no answer, no place in society for anyone who chooses to attack children at a dance club. No way. We just are absolutely unforgivable. Monster. We don't know, Zara. We don't know if it's terrorism. We don't know who the person is. We don't know why or what has gone on. We just know that Alder Hey Hospital has said there's a major incident and they don't want anyone to come into that hospital. I sound like I'm mean crying. Andy, what does that even mean? I think more than I could even call something terrorism or domestic or anything like that, it's an attack on children. And no matter why, the attacker will say it happened or will say he did it, it is still a monstrous attack of pure evil. What has happened? There is no reason, motive, theory by which this can ever be excused. You're an FBI. Alfie from Essex, what a surprise that you coming here with your quiff kicking off. Yeah, it's absolutely devastating. I've only heard that one child has passed away so far. I know, yeah, Amanda. People choose to turn anything into a reason to hate. At the end of the day, this is the whole of the UK needs to stand up together, and we need to hold up these parents. We need to hold up these families. We need to hold up the whole of Southport. We need to absolutely join forces in this and absolutely be outraged at this. No, the latest that we had was that one has passed away and the others are critically injured at hospital. Right, guys, I'm going to go for a little while. We don't have any description of the person. If we do find out who's been arrested, I will put up a video. I need to go spend some time with my children and just come away from this for a minute. Cases are always heartbreaking, and I cover them because we do want awareness and we do want people to put out what's going on. But at the same time, cases like this they're enough to bring you to your knees, aren't they? And please, if you could only do one day today, please just say a prayer for these families and these children, whether you believe it or not, the power of positive thought and positive thinking. Just hug your children a little bit tighter. Go and spend some time with them, take them out on a bike ride or a scooter ride, get some fresh air, buy them an ice cream, do something nice for your children, and just pray for these families right now and these children. Thank you, guys, and I'll speak to you later on. Hope I can't get out.
The Observer, providing you with the latest TikTok drama from across the UK.